What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. I know recently we've been talking about a lot of news and a lot of drama and a lot of roster changes and swaps and all that good stuff, and there's still plenty more of that to come. I still have a big list of stories that I want to cover and want to talk about, but today I also wanted to get back and make a tier list. We have the LEC Summer Split starting this coming weekend. We're just a couple of days away from that, so I want to get some of my thoughts and opinions on some of these players, teams, rosters, all of that stuff out. I think my new game plan is maybe to make like one tier list per week, or maybe one LEC and one LCS tier list per week or something, just to like consistently get them out rather than trying to push them all out at once. But today we're going to be going over top lane. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video, and subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. With that being said, here we go. So obviously we have a couple of new top laners coming in. We've had a couple of roster changes, which also could affect how top laners perform and everything. And here's kind of what I'm thinking. Obviously, the two new top laners are going to be SLT and Adam for Vitality and Fnatic, and the two top laners that are out from the last split are Bwipo and Szygenda. So that's what we're kind of working with here. I'm going to be starting out at the bottom. We're in the F tier. I have Mr. White Knight. To me, I think there's an argument to be made. There's another guy I have close to him, but I would probably have him as the worst top laner in the LEC right now. I do expect Astralis to be probably not very good again this split, kind of towards the bottom, which a team game like League of Legends, if you're on the worst team or one of the worst teams, that's always going to, hurt your performances a little bit. I know this guy did have some big moments in the spring split. I know he had like the pentakill on Renekton or whatever, but I'm just kind of not expecting too much from him or Astralis again. Also for me, in the F tier, I am going to have Kryze as well. Again, Excel, another team that's just not really exciting me too much. Kryze was not necessarily a guy that really stood out to me in the spring split either. Excel wasn't a great team in spring. They're going to be worse in summer, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people. How is Kryze going to fit in with Treats in the jungle? How are they going to synergize? How are they going to play around each other? I don't know, but I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be great. Next up, moving into the C tier, I have Hyrit for Misfits. Misfits is a team that a lot of people are like, wow, Misfits, you didn't do anything in the offseason, which was a good thing. A lot of teams in this offseason did a ton of bad moves and did a ton of weird stuff. Misfits seems like they're running back the same roster in the spring, and Misfits had some good moments, and they're also a young team that's going to continue to develop and hopefully get better. We'll see. I know Hyrit definitely had some big time moments in the spring, but also, he was just really inconsistent, as was the whole Misfits team. So I think he'll be solid. I think he'll be decent, a little bit above the F tier, but not going too crazy with his ratings or anything. Next up, I do believe we are going into the B tier, where I have Adam. This is a guy who I'm actually pretty excited for, coming over from K-Corp to Fnatic. I think a big thing here is that this is a young, inexperienced player coming into a pretty good team, a team with a lot of veterans and everything. Yeah, it's going to be Bwipo jungle. We'll see how Bwipo and Adam can kind of work together, how they can make things work or whatever. Adam is a guy with a very, very aggressive playstyle, very aggressive champion pool. I think that's going to fit in very, very well with Fnatic. But anytime we see a young player coming in with that aggressive style, they're also going to have some bad games. They're also going to be inting sometimes as well, as teams look to punish them making, those over-aggressive mistakes and everything. So I do think Adam will be a good player eventually. It might take some time. He might be a little bit consistent here and there, but definitely coming into a good team like Fnatic, where in a lot of these young players, they get their first opportunity on like Astralis or Excel or something. Getting your first opportunity on Fnatic definitely should help your performances, because again, if your team's doing bad, you might look worse. If your team's doing good, you might look a little bit better. So I think Adam has a chance to look pretty good there. And then, of the two young top laners coming in, I actually have SLT rated a little bit higher. When we were talking about who Fnatic's new top laner was going to be, I was actually kind of on the side of them pushing for SLT. I thought they maybe should have gone with him. I think Adam is going to be great as well, but SLT for Vitality, I have just ranked a little bit better than Adam. Kind of the same situation. I think SLT is coming into a pretty good team in Vitality. There should be no reason why he can't come into the LEC and succeed right away. This guy was really good in the ERLs. I think he's going to be a really, really solid top laner. But again, with young, inexperienced top laners, you never know how good they're going to be right away. You never know how long it's going to take for them to get comfortable, to synergize with their team, to figure out how to play the LEC style, to play at the pace of the LEC, and just how they're going to fit into that specific meta. And we don't know for sure, because we don't even know how good Vitality is going to be. Vitality has a ton of changes coming in, a ton of moving parts. It could be either really, really good or really, really bad. But I'm pretty high on SLT. I think he's going to be good. I am excited about getting two really, really good new top laners in the LEC, because I think historically Europe has been pretty weak in the top lane. Finally, at the top of the B tier, I have a Mr. Gen-X. This guy, I actually think was pretty good in the spring split. He played on, a middle of the pack team. SK was, 6th in the spring split. So not like a great team, but he had some games and some moments where he was like 1v9ing. Yeah, a lot of SK's win came off the back of treats, but I remember Gen-X having like some Urgot games where he was just raid boss 1v9ing. Again, he's a little bit inconsistent, not necessarily like a consistently amazing week in and week out, but overall, I think Gen-X is pretty solid. Yes, SK has some weird changes. Their coach is going to be their support. Their support's going to be their jungler. That could have an overall negative impact on the team. We'll see how it goes. But overall, I think Gen-X is pretty good. I think he was better than the team he was on. I think they probably held him back a little bit. He's a guy I'm keeping an eye on in the summer split for sure. I'm kind of curious to see how he'll do against these new young top laners, whether they're going to establish themselves above or below Gen-X in the LEC. But we'll just have to wait and see. Next up, getting into the A tier, we're now into the top 4 top laners here. I have Armut. Now, I know people have him all over the place. From Spring Split, people were either really high or really low on him. From MSI, he had some big plays, some big moments, and now people are maybe even higher on him. But I also just think that Armut is very, very inconsistent. Everyone talks about his Wukong and his huge playmaking, his aggressive style. And yes, Armut will definitely make some crazy plays where it looks like no play can be made. He'll win you a game that it looks like you had no business winning, and then he did that in the finals against Rogue. He had some big moments, but I'll also watch some games where I tune in, it's like 10 minutes, Armut's down like 40 CS. Like, he has some really, really random and weird lane phases and stuff too. I think he definitely has great skill. He has just a flair for the dramatic. He finds big plays. He's a big personality. He's a likable guy. He has a ton of fans. But I just want to see a little bit more consistency from him. I love those high highs, but man, his low lows are just pretty rough, and I think that's going to be tough for a team like Mad Lions, who wants to be consistent. If they want to be consistently competing with G2, Rogue, and not only teams in the LEC, but the top teams in the world, I think they're going to need a little bit more consistency from Armut. But overall, A tier, I think he's really, really great. Next, I got Broken Blade in the A tier. Now, maybe you could say, Broken Blade's worse than Armut or whatever, but Armut plays on a much better team. I think if you put BB on Mad Lions, I think you would see just really how good Broken Blade is. I think he had some big moments for Schalke. And yes, Schalke probably got worse this offseason, but Kira might be an upgrade to Gilius. We'll see exactly how that goes, and if it is, that could be a nice little improvement for Broken Blade. I love this guy's champion pool, love his playstyle, personality, really, another guy that's really great with the fans, popular. I think BB is an awesome player, and I'm expecting a big summer split from him. Now, getting into the S tier, I have Odoamne. I think this guy was a beast in the spring split. He was really, really awesome. Yes, Rogue did end up coming up just a game short of that LEC title, but Odoamne was still really great throughout the split, throughout the playoffs. I think he's going to have a really, really big summer split. I'm expecting Rogue to be great once again and maybe come up a little bit more clutch this time. And then finally in the S tier, I was very, very critical of Wunder in the playoffs. I thought he was not great. I thought he was really, really bad. I thought he was holding back G2. But that was just a couple of weeks in playoffs. When you take a look at the spring split as a whole, this guy was still awesome. I think he's motivated, hungry. I think he's going to come into summer split with a fire under him that we haven't seen Wunder have in a while. I think he and G2 all have something to prove. And I'm not betting against G2. I'm not betting against Wunder as the best top laner in the league. I think he's going to come out and absolutely stomp the LEC. And I'm definitely very, very excited to watch that. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen, my LEC top laner tier list heading into the summer split of 2021. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. What does your tier list look like? Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully, I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.